participants, and good afternoon, Prashant sir. Welcome you all to the afternoon session. And myself, Pradipha, I am the moderator for this particular session. And it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Prashant sir to all of you. Dr. Prashant R. Nair is working as Associate Professor of Computer Science and Engineering of Amrita School of Engineering, Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham, Coimbatore. He has over 20 years of teaching, research, mentoring, training, consultancy, and academic administration experience. He has taught in academic programs in the USA and Europe at University of California, San Diego, and Sofia University, Bulgaria as an Erasmus Mundus Fellow. He has written 6 books, 2 edited books, 1 book chapter, and over 50 publications in reputed journals, books, and conferences. He has mentored student teams which have won premier international and national competitions like Smart India Hackathon, Rajasthan Hackathon, TCS Digital Twin Challenge, and represented India as part of the national hackathon team for Singapore India Hackathon and felicitated by Honorable Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi. He has also been ranked as top innovation mentor in India by Atal Innovation Mission AIM and coordinates AIM activities at Tamil Nadu as regional mentor of change. He has been serving as the chairman, vice chairman, coordinator of Amrita Deemed University's Internal Quality Assurance Cell since 2009. So I welcome Prashant sir to the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Pratibha ma'am, for the very kind introduction. Dear Dr. Manoj Tarian and other faculty members of Rajagiri institutions and all the participants, a very good afternoon to all of you. So I will today give you I'm handling 2 sessions for this this faculty development program. Today I'll be giving you an overview on rankings, specifically focusing on NIRF, where we can have a discussion on what are the strategies that you can employ to improve your rankings and so on. And on Tuesday, I will have another session where I will focus on how the internal quality assurance cell of a college is a very important appendage. It's a very important aspect of the institution and can do a very proactive role in the all aspects of the institution, so as to speak. Pratibha ma'am, I'm still not able to share. It is not updated till now. I saw a message, but my screen is not shareable.
Okay, we will check again, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a message that you are the something, but I'm not able to present even now. That yeah, now it's okay. Okay. I got it.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Is my screen visible? Are you able to see my slides?
Yes, sir. Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So as mentioned, I will today talk about the NIRF ranking. Actually, I am going to start with focus on generally about rankings as a whole. And then I will focus on the NIRF specifically, and there is a small break. But after that, we can probably discuss on we can have a discussion on what all can be done to improve your rankings, so as to speak. So about my experience, so I am located at Coimbatore campus of Amrita University, Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham. The headquarters is Coimbatore campus. We have 6 campuses now. There is a campus there are 2 campuses in Kerala, in Kochi, which is the health sciences campus attached to the Amrita Hospital, which is one of the best in the country. Then there is a campus in Kollam, in a place called Amritapuri, where the chancellor of the university, world-renowned humanitarian leader, Sri Mata Amritanandamayi, who is affectionately called Amma among her followers throughout the globe. She is there and the campus is there in Kollam. We also have 2 campuses in Karnataka, in Mysore and Bangalore. There is another campus coming up in Delhi. It's a health sciences campus, expected to start in a couple of years from now. And there is a upcoming campus also in Amaravati, which is the new legislative capital of Andhra Pradesh. Basically, my experience has been for almost a decade, more than a decade. I was the vice chair for 8 years and chairman of the internal quality assurance cell of the university as a whole. I'm talking as a whole means all campuses, which we have, as I told, 6 campuses. We have around 16 colleges. We call them schools. And we have around 150 plus departments. We have around 20,000 students and around 1,600 to 1,700 faculty. So almost a decade, from 2009 to 19, I was the vice chair or chair of the IQAC. Now I have stepped down in the university role. I am no more the university level IQAC chair, but I continue to coordinate and chair the IQAC of the Coimbatore campus, which is the headquarters and the biggest campus. And in this journey, we have actually done we have completed 2 cycles of NAC accreditation with the highest grade. The 3rd cycle we have almost completed, but because of the pandemic, the actual on-site visit did not happen. The same IQAC has been also taking leadership in focusing on the NIRF for the last 4 years. And in fact, I have been the nodal officer for the NIRF rankings. Even today, I am the nodal officer, and we have been steadily climbing the rankings. We have been doing very well. In the last, I think the rankings came 5 years back, 2016, if I am not mistaken. And we have been, we were, the last 3 years, we have been 8th and 4th. 2020, I think we were 4th. 2019, 8th, and the 2018 also 8th. In fact, in 2018, I only had gone to Delhi to receive that certificate from the then Union Minister Prakash Javadekar. I had only gone to collect that certificate. And we have been doing pretty well because a lot of coordination work, a lot of commonality is there in terms of the NAC, the NBA, the outcome-based education, the IQAC. So there is a lot of commonality with respect to these activities. And basically, we have dovetailed all these activities together so as to get this thing. And in the last couple of years, we have also started participating in the NIRF discipline-wise rankings. So they started with the overall and university kind of ranking. Then they had disciplines also. In 2015, when it was launched, I believe there was only a ranking for university and a few disciplines, including engineering. Subsequently, now in 2020, they have really evolved over the time, and there are many discipline-specific rankings also. So you can apply as a university, you can apply as a college, you can apply as for engineering aspects, which most of the IITs only appear in the engineering rankings. They do not participate in the university ranking, but some of them do also. Then you can participate in medical, dental, health, pharmacy, management, law, architecture. So all the disciplines. And so as to speak, what has happened is that no doubt this rankings have been evolving over time. And every year it is improving or rather evolving over a period of time. But I do not deny that there are definitely there are some lacunae here and there. I do not deny that fact that there are some lacunae. But at least the process is very good. And what we are seeing is that every year they are amenable to suggestions. Every year the ranking is only improving. And one very, what should I say, very clear aspect of this is that we are really seeing this happening. See, before the NIRF rankings, we had so many media-linked, media-backed rankings. You know, rankings were a dime a dozen. Outlook came with its magazine would come with its ranking. The Week would come with its ranking. Then Business Today ranking, Business India ranking, Data Quest ranking, Careers 360 ranking. There are so many rankings. Competition success ranking. Now, if you see, nobody gives a damn. Nobody cares about most of these rankings. Some of them do participate in these rankings for branding and marketing, but beyond that, those rankings have completely lost their relevance, more or less. I'm not saying they're not there. I mean, obviously the media organizations need revenue, and this is some sort of revenue in having some advertisements and stuff. It's probably continuing, but I don't think anybody gives any cognizance to any of those magazine rankings. At least the prominence of those magazine rankings have completely disappeared as a result of the NIRF, the National Institutional Ranking Framework. So at that level, there is definitely a change has happened in India. Now, I am going to first stress upon why rankings, what are the, the pros and the cons. And then we'll focus on the NIRF ranking. So now there has been a lot of hue and cry about rankings, and there has been a lot of buzz also. Now I want to slightly rewind 5 years back to how the NIRF actually came into being. So in 2016, 2015-16, the policy makers, especially both the Prime Minister and the President of India, a lot of international rankings where university rankings became popular in India. And we were seeing that a lot of Indian institutions were nowhere. And in fact, it used to be a huge media frenzy that no Indian university is now there in the top 50, top 100, top 200, top 300, top 500, and so on. So somehow a big media frenzy had happened. Even in earlier years, these rankings were going on. But somehow in 2015, 2014, 15, this became a major issue, and the policy makers were actually started evaluating this issue. Now, primarily, many of these top institutions were not featuring because they were just not participating in a very proactive fashion. I mean, somebody is asking for the data, you just send the data. They were not having a nodal officer, or they were not having any strategy towards these international rankings. And that is why we were seeing many of the Indian top institutions like IAC or IIT were not featuring well in these rankings. But subsequently, that has now really changed a lot. Now, if you see all the international rankings, you are seeing a lot of Indian universities doing extremely well. Extremely well means very well. In fact, our medical college, it's not medical college, our university medical programs, healthcare programs, in the Times ranking, we are ranked in the top 200 to 250 in the country, and it's primarily our AIMS hospital, the research and the academic programs that are there. So it was basically more of a a proactive engagement was not there, and that brought about this this reason to bring about the NIRF, because NIRF was brought with two objectives. So all the policymakers, were Prime Minister of India and the President of India, were talking about these, then President of India, late Pranab Mukherjee, and of course Prime Minister. And definitely the idea when Smriti Irani was the Education Minister, this idea was crystallizing, and finally they brought the NIRF with two objectives. One objective was to have an India-specific system. Now, we will see in the subsequent slides that many of these international rankings do not cater to the Indian context at all. They are not at all, relevant to the Indian context. They are too focused on research and perception. Now, in an Indian institution, we may consider placement to be a very important parameter. But at least in the Western universities and these rankings, they were totally focused on research and quality of research and so on. So the one reason why these rankings were brought was to prepare Indian universities and institutions to participate in the global rankings, to at least have some this thing, and have an India-specific ranking. The India-specific ranking will be considering the Indian milieu, the Indian context, the Indian situation. And that is the genesis of NIRF. So there was a two-pronged, what should I say, a two-pronged objective. One objective focused on having an India-specific ranking which considers the diversity of this country. It's a huge and diverse and highly complex environment with so many complexities which I will talk to you. Second thing is, participating in the NIRF rankings has also has accelerated many of the Indian institutions to proactively engage with the international rankings also. And we are seeing that Indian institutions are year on year, they are improving. Every year we are seeing, the Indian institutions go ahead and ahead. Now, that brings me to, a fundamental question. Many of us may think, I have seen many very senior people, talk about, why do you have to have these rankings? I do not believe in these rankings. So, see, my answer, this is again my opinion. I am not talking, I'm not giving an institutional perspective. This is my personal perspective, considering my experience, that, you can love them, you can hate them. Whether it is ranking or accreditation, you can love them, you can hate them, but you cannot ignore them in this country. The reason is, see, we are living in a highly, competitive environment. We are looking at 1,000 universities. We are looking at 50,000 colleges. We are looking at a gross enrollment ratio of only 30%. So all these colleges and universities are needed. And definitely the stakeholder, the student, the parent, the employer, the research collaborator, the foreign university collaborator needs to have some sort of benchmark by which they are able to this thing. And see, you may disagree, you may agree or disagree. Rankings are good, rankings are bad, accreditation is good, accreditation is bad. Both sides of the spectrum are there. You can agree, you can disagree, but you cannot ignore them in today's context. That is the fact of life. Now, notwithstanding the, there are definitely, see, there is no ranking that is perfect. Let me be very honest. Many, I don't know, there may be a lot of business school professors in this audience. If you are in an HR perspective, if you are an HR professor, human resources professor, you will vouch with me that there is no performance appraisal system. Till now, there is no company that has designed a perfect performance appraisal system. No company. People talk about 360 degrees feedback. But the fact is that even though there is 360 degrees feedback, it has not been successful 100%. There is nothing called a perfect appraisal system. Everybody will have something to do, may have many likes and some dislikes. Even the ulta is possible. Many may not agree with the appraisal system. So there is no accreditation system, nor there is any ranking system that is perfect. There is nothing perfect. There will definitely be some lacunae, there will be some issues, there will be some pitfalls, there will be some good aspects also. And there are definitely a lot of benefits. So the moral of the story, that I would like to impress upon you is that, you can love them, you can hate them. You can love the ranking, you can hate the ranking. You can love accreditation, you can hate accreditation. But at the end of the day, you simply cannot ignore both. Both are important. Both ranking and accreditation are both important towards quality. And what has actually happened in the last 5 years, so this is 5 years back, the ranking has definitely empowered many institutions. Many institutions are now focused in a very big way to improving their performance, looking inside. See, if you ask me, the greatest thing is that there is an introspection that has happened. And we are looking inwards. We are pointing the lens towards ourselves. And in the process, we are definitely moving towards improvement. And we are, after 5 years down the line, I can tell you that, now Indian institutions are definitely improving a lot. Really, there is a lot of traction. Many Indian institutions are doing so well, and this trend is only going to continue. Now, as mentioned, there are definitely there are a lot of benefits, directly or indirectly, when you are ranked. Now, these benefits can be put into 4 buckets. This is improving your reputation and visibility, the visibility and your reputation, improving your collaboration, your research, the quality of research, the citation, and the stuff, because the parameters make you to look for collaboration, make you to look for impact of research, helping you in your international and global prospects in terms of attracting international students, international faculty, international collaborators, and helping you on a strategic path. You are able to plan your institution. Now, we are talking of, vision and mission. What do you want to be for 10 years from now? What do you want to be 15 years from now? What do you want to be 5 years from now? What is your mission? What are your actionable activities that make you attain the mission? And how you are going on the trajectory towards a vision. Also, all these things definitely happen as a result of these, the rankings, which prompt you, or rather force you to look inwards and improve all aspects. Now, as mentioned, your reputation improves not only not only locally but also globally. In fact, you can have a mix of it, global and local, and many people call it a global strategy. It is a mix of global and local, where you are not only focused on the global aspect but also looking at the immediate community that you are in. So your reputation is improving, your name is improving, and as a result of that, your institution or your college or your university is definitely going up. And when your reputation increases, obviously people want to put their wards in your colleges, in your institutions, and so on. Now, globalization. See, we are now living in a global village. Why do you think people should send their we are looking at study in India. We are looking at India becoming a global destination. We want more and more foreign students, international students, to come to India and study, because we definitely have arrived as a big higher education institution. All of your colleges may have excellent facilities, hostel, infrastructure, mess, and other things for international students. But how do they come? How do they look at you? Definitely, it is the rankings. Definitely, the rankings play an important role. Now, I'm just talking my own experience. A couple of years back, I don't know if it is 2 or 3 years back, I had gone to Bhutan, and I think Bhutan was last year and Nepal was a couple of years back. Last year and the year before, I think 2018 and 19, had gone to Bhutan as part of this Indian Study in India delegation to understand. And as the nodal also for NIRF, definitely it was a talking point. But I found out in all places in Nepal, many of the Nepal is a country where everything is run by agents. There are agents for higher education. There is no direct engagement. Even the Ministry of Education has given it to these agents to run the system. But these agents were all making a beeline for our booth and all, and having one-to-one calls and meetings and so on, because they were very much cognizant of the rankings. Our university's rankings were known to them, and they were very clear. They have been doing their homework also, and we found out that definitely these rankings have made an impact, and especially in the SAARC region. It is Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, and all. Many of them, at least all the students who are coming from these countries to India, are very seriously looking at the NIRF rankings. Maybe somebody who's coming from US or Australia may not look at the NIRF ranking, but definitely the SAARC countries, we are seeing that, and we found so much of interest and so much of buzz on this. Now, obviously, research and quality of research. We need to improve our research. How do we improve our research? Definitely just by publishing may not work. We want our research to be cited. We want our research to make impact. We want collaborations, and definitely these things help. The rankings help, because if you are sitting in some American university or some European universities and your collaborator talks to their vice chancellor or provost saying that I want to collaborate with this Indian university or this Indian college, definitely they will do their homework. Because, there are thousands and thousands of colleges in India. There are so many, almost 1,000 universities in India, and only a few brands are known so globally. And definitely they will do their homework. And when you want to look for international collaboration, international research collaboration, the rankings are important. And finally, the strategic planning, the benchmarking, looking inwards, looking into where you are. Understanding your strength. It's like a SWOT analysis. You are understanding your strength, you are understanding your weaknesses, you are looking at the opportunities, looking at the threats, and seeing how you can move ahead with respect to the strategic planning. So, the moral of the story is very clear. Rankings and see, you may like or not like ranking, you may like or hate rankings and accreditation, but you simply cannot ignore them. Having said that, it is definitely very clear that rankings are very helpful in improving your reputation, in including your brand, improving your visibility, improving your international opportunities, whether it is students, collaborators, or this thing, improving your research and the impact of your research, the outcomes of your research, and helping you look inwards. Look inwards in the sense looking inside and finding out your the lacunae that you are inside, putting on you on a path or a roadmap towards strategic planning, doing a SWOT analysis, understanding where your strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat are. So there is definitely a huge benefit and a value add as a result of rankings. I already told you, I think I already covered all these things. Yeah. Now, see, the web of our life is a mingled yarn. That's what, Shakespeare told. So, many of these things are interlinked. This slide is just trying to, kind of show you or impress upon you that all these things are kind of interlinked. And especially international rankings. Now, most of the international rankings only look at these parameters, unfortunately. These are the parameters that are common for most of the international ranking, not NIRF. NIRF luckily has considered a lot of the Indian situation, the Indian milieu, and the Indian context. But majority of the international rankings do not actually care for many of the things that we do outstandingly in India. And all these things are unfortunately interconnected. Papers depend upon collaboration. You have good collaboration, your papers improve. You have collaboration, your citations also improve. You have better research, it will help you get more international faculty. Somebody wants to become an adjunct faculty, he will definitely look for all these things. You want to improve your reputation, it will depend upon your research collaboration. You want funding, again, it may depend upon not only collaboration, it may depend upon how employable your students are. Your students also play an important role. The life that they have in the campus. You may have the best food court, the best hostel, the best facility, and that word of mouth goes off, and that also is needed if an international student wants to come. And these are the parameters that most of these international universities look at. And if you take a broad, if you try to kind of summarize what they want, it is primarily focused on research and perception. So, research, perception, collaboration, these are the key words with respect to most of the international ranking. And we find out that these are all interrelated. Each one thing are interrelated to each other. And broadly speaking, all the international rankings are tailored towards perception, or they are tailored towards research outcomes, and to some extent collaboration and so on. So if you have the best placement, may not be a much of a there. There is some focus on employability, but then that may not be the major parameters. See, most of us, I mean, many of us are from various engineering colleges or MBA colleges. I believe mostly you are from engineering or MBA colleges. For us, probably the magic word is CTC, cost to the company. The compensation package, what is the average CTC, what is the highest CTC, what is the median salary? These are the things that are probably the most important parameters that we look for when we want to, when we try to project our college or our institution. So these are probably not at all so important here. So the international rankings, so many international rankings are there, and generally so many international rankings are there, but most of them, as I mentioned, generally are focused towards research, collaboration, perception, and that perception also does not comes through some sort of research and innovation. The perception does not come through other means. See, you may have 20,000 students. That may not be a big deal for them. You may have 30,000 students, 50,000 students. You may have 5 campuses, 7 campuses. Those things need not be of much importance for these international rankings. More importance is probably the collaboration, the research, the perception. In the sense that, the pillars, at least most of these pillars are very much focused on research and international, very less on employability and teaching. Luckily, the NIRF does not considers a lot of importance for some aspects, at least, of the teaching methodology, and there is definitely some aspect of employability. Some focus is there on research, outcomes, graduate, and so on, which we will see. Now, as I mentioned, we are in a very competitive space. I've already told you that, very competitive space. And we have to be very aggressive if we want to have, we want to cater to the stakeholders, whether it is the alumni, you want funding, from DST, DBT, all these things matter. And I'm not saying a ranking will help you get a DST funding, but because you have focused on the rankings, your number of science citation indexed papers have increased. Definitely that will help you when you get a DST funding. So what I'm trying to say is that they are all interlinked. And when you are strategizing, automatically the other things will also improve. Maybe a DST or a DBT may not care about if you say that I am in this rank and all, but because you have been focusing on the ranking and you are taking proactive steps, your research outcomes have improved. Research outcomes in terms of funding, or in terms of citations, in terms of high quality papers, patents, and all these things will help you get secure funding. So the audience is global, the audience is diverse, the stakeholders are multifarious, and all these are stakeholders, so as to speak. Yeah, so I'm not going to spend much time. There are many international rankings. Generally, the 2 international rankings that have become very popular in India are Times Higher Education and QS, Cochrane-Simons. They are not university rankings. They are not run by any university. They are run by private organizations. In America, there is another media publication called US News. US News is a media outlet, but they run the best rankings, at least mostly US students and all look at the US News ranking before they select a university. But it's a very comprehensive, what should I say, very, very comprehensive methodology that they employ. But globally, now I believe that Times Higher Education and QS rankings have become very, very popular. Chinese have brought a ranking called Shanghai Jiaotong Rankings. I think it's now also called ARWU. It's another name for that. So they are now, very popular. Primarily, I believe these are the 3 primary and most popular rankings that are there international. Now, if you see most of them, again, it's highly tailored towards either research or collaboration and that kind of outputs. I will give you a little time to, you can just go through this thing for a minute. Yeah, so most of these international rankings are generally very much focused on research. ARWU or the Shanghai is almost 100% focused on research. The QS rankings also mostly research, and some focus is there on peer review, but peer review or perception. But that perception also basically is depending on the research, then the collaboration. So if you see all across the board, it is primarily research and collaboration and perception. The perception, unfortunately, comes mainly through research, and to some extent, a perception is built from the employers as well. So I told you the background of the NIRF. India gets its ranking in 2015. They were launched. The first rankings came in 2016, and over a period of time, I will go into these things detail. Over a period of time, these rankings are evolving. Definitely, these rankings have considered what should I say? They have considered the international rankings, because the NIRF came with two objectives. One, preparing the Indian institutions to participate in these rankings, and second, to have an India-specific ranking. So there are elements that are part of these, these international rankings, no doubt, so that our Indian institutions can prepare, can also do well in the international ranking. At the same time, there are parameters that are that are focused on India specific or Indian situation. Now, slight difference will be there here and there in the discipline specific, but broadly speaking, I have taken the overall thing for the explanation. Slight differences here and there are there. Probably, if I remember right, for colleges, this research and professional practice may be slightly lesser in terms of percentage. And so on. But broadly speaking, this is how it is divided. Even in the engineering specific ranking or the university ranking, it is the same breakup, but slightly here and there, plus or minus 5, here and there, some changes are there. And I don't remember by heart which are those things. But broadly, teaching learning resources take 30%, research, consultancy, executive programs, development programs, corporate training take around 30%, and this also includes the quality of the research. It is not only research, but the impact of your research in terms of international, number of collaborating papers, in terms of the percentile, and there are many parameters that they use for that. Then your outcomes of graduates, in the sense that how your employability, your placement, your CTC, your median salary, your all those aspects. Then how many PhDs you are graduating. That's a very important indicator. Then outreach and inclusivity, the kind of scholarships that you are giving, the kind of how you are promoting women in your institution in terms of the administration, and finally the perception. So this is the broad framework. The 30% is generally focused on the teaching learning process, the research, another 30%, but then slight changes are there here and there. So let us start with the first this thing, that the teaching learning and resources, TLR. So yeah, if you see the TLR now, I have already told you that there is nothing called a perfect system. There are definitely ways for some people to work around these rankings. That is possible. But having said that, if one size does not fit all. It is very clear. India is a diverse system. India is a very diverse, amalgamated system. So, and education is on the concurrent list that the states have a role to play in education. What should I say? The central government has to play a role. So, it's a very complicated and complex environment. In such a situation, it has to consider the best option where one size fits all. This is the best fit that they could come with. Now, student strength. The student strength, obviously, you have more number of students, it helps you in the rank. You have more number of PhD students, your ratio of postgraduate students to undergraduate students goes on increasing. That also definitely you are listening. So student strength considers undergraduate students, postgraduate students, and of course, the doctoral students. More the number of doctoral students, more the number of postgraduate students, it definitely helps you. Thank you. Just give me a minute. Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, so student strength definitely focuses on the post-graduation, and so definitely some institutions will have an edge over the others. There may be some institutions with so many undergrad programs, undergraduate, and less number of PG and PhD, and definitely they'll get hit over here. Second is faculty to student ratio. Now, faculty to student ratio is very important. In the sense that you are not allowed to use visiting faculty. You can use participating adjunct faculty provided they have they have given a significant amount of time. See, somebody who has come and taken a course, somebody who has taken 2 courses or 3 courses, or somebody who has been guiding students and contributing, coming several times to your campus, those people can be counted. But visiting faculty who just come, take a lecture and all, you cannot count. So more the number of faculty to student ratio, again, that benefits. Now here, if you see, a medical college will definitely have a much better advantage. Being multidisciplinary also helps. I'll tell you why. All of us know in engineering, we have a faculty student ratio that is prescribed is 1:20 or 1:50. Undergraduate, it used to be 1:25 or something. Now they have brought it down to 1:20. And for PG, it is 1:15. Some places they even say 1:10 and all. For MBA and all, they insist that you have a 1:10 ratio. Now, in a medical college, it will be totally different. A medical college, you will have maybe a 1:2 ratio. If there are 100 students, if there are, the ratio will be much skewed towards the faculty side. So, if you are multidisciplinary, an arts and sciences program, many of them have 1:30 ratios. But if you are multidisciplinary, and you can combine all your faculty, you are in great advantage, because it will help you average out. Because ultimately you may have 100 medical students and you may have 40-50 faculty for them. 1:2 ratio is possible. But engineering, you may have 1:15, but you do the math and you add. So FSR is benefited a lot because of the multidisciplinary universities. The next one is of course, the number of people having a terminal degree, a PhD or an equivalent degree. In medical and health sciences, there is a degree called DM and MCH. DM, it's Doctor of Medicine. MCH is Master of Chiruge something. So both of them are considered equivalent to PhD. So the number of people having a terminal degree, more the number, more you are benefited. And obviously, places like IIT or IAAC will have 100% PhD, and they definitely get a good mark because of these parameters. So more the number of people with terminal degrees, PhDs, you get a lot of benefit. Now, isn't this a good thing? in the sense that any institution, obviously when you want to have more and more PhDs, obviously you are improving the ratio. When a PhD comes, he brings in some amount of research. Some students he may guide, more publications will come. Likely that he may take a project and all. So it's only a good thing. More the number of PhDs, obviously other things will improve in the institution. And again, the experience. You have more experienced faculty, that also helps. They are looking at the total experience of the faculty. More experienced faculty. There are some places, I don't want to put names, but there have been times in this part of Tamil Nadu that there have been colleges who have terminated all the professors because they're not able to pay salary, and they have replaced them with all of lecturers. So in such colleges are getting caught here, because if you only have lecturers maybe who have a median experience of 2 or 3 years, you get big time hit on the FQE. You also get hit because mostly these lecturers may not have completed their PhD. They may only be registering or going to register. So if you are a college who is removing all the senior faculty, you get hit over here. If you are a college who is terminating all the senior people and replacing them with very young people, again you get hit here. So these are actually good checks and balances for the institution to improve. Now coming to FRU, now this is a measure of how much you are investing in the resources. Investing in the resources means in terms of how much you are investing in the library, not the building and the land, but all other aspects. How much you are investing in infrastructure augmentation in terms of laboratories, in terms of libraries, studios, how much money you are using for student activities, cultural, social, sports. All these things are factored here. So if you are doing a lot of activities, promoting cultural activities, sports activities, the technical competitions, tech fest, and all these things, you get good points here. The more you invest on your library, you get points here. The more you invest on the library and the maintenance of the augmentation of infrastructural facility like equipment, labs, and all, you get marks here. So these are all very good parameters that promote you to do all these activities to not only improve the technical infrastructure, augment the resources, but also improve the life of the students through cultural activities, sports activities, recreational activities, other infrastructural activity. All that you can factor here. You are improving your hostel facility and all those things can be factored into these things. But you have to be a little intelligent on how to put it, where to put it, and so on. So now all these parameters, if you see, whether it is student strength or FSR or FQE or FRU, are completely India-specific parameters. I don't think in any American university without a PhD, you may not be able to become a faculty. You can't be counted as a tenure or a non-tenure track faculty unless you are having a PhD. You may be, if you don't have a PhD and you can't teach, you can probably be a assistant or a teaching assistant or something like that. But I don't think you can be a regular faculty in any American university, so, or European university. So all these are purely India-specific parameters, all of them, right? More maybe undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctoral students may be probably even in the West, they may be having. No, I think it is similar. I mean, at least my experience is that all big universities, University of California system. I mean, at least I was there for almost a semester in San Diego, and I remember, the number of UG students are huge. PG students and PhD students may be not so very less, but I think PhD and PG students are more or less the same. Maybe in Indian universities, you may have many more PG students and less number of PhD students, but there I believe it was more or less the same. That is because all the faculty had a PhD. So definitely all these four parameters, whether it is student strength SS, whether it is FSR, faculty to student ratio, whether it is FQE, faculty quality and experience, the number of PhDs, the number of experience that they have, and utilization of resources, where you are investing on library, you're investing on student activities, cultural activities, sports activity, maintenance, infrastructure, augmentation of equipment, resources, labs, studios. All these are definitely India specific parameters. So this 30% considers the Indian milieu, the Indian context, the Indian system, and definitely all of us need this. We cannot go with completely with a Times ranking or a QS ranking where it is completely focused on research, perception, or collaboration. I think Dr. Pratibha ma'am, it's 2:15. Do you want me to continue or there's a break?
Sir, if you wish, we can take a break, sir.
Okay, we'll take a 3
5.
minute break.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's okay, sir. So, okay, we will take 5 minutes break. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think in your schedule it says 5 minute break has to be given.
Yes, 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 sir. Okay.
Okay, we'll take a 5 minute break. I'll join in 5 minutes.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Okay.
I'm not shutting down anything.
Okay, fine, fine. So participants, we will have a 5 minutes break, and by 2:20, I think we can all be back.
Okay, can we start, Pratibha ma'am? Pratibha ma'am, can we start? Pratibha ma'am?
Prashant sir?
Can we start, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes. It's already 2:20. We can
Yeah.
start. Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
sir.
you.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
as mentioned, the first aspect, that is the TLR, the teaching and learning resources, these 30% is completely an India specific parameter. They are not there in any of these international rankings. They are primarily completely focused on Indian situation, because you are focusing on student strength. You are focusing on number of UG, PG, and PhD students. You are focusing on your faculty student ratio, which is probably a major issue in India, but not maybe abroad. And also having more faculty is definitely needed, especially to improve the gross enrollment ratio. So FSR, then having more number of PhDs, having more experienced faculty, their experience, the median experience, all these things really matter. Plus, how you are investing in terms of improving your library resources, your electronic resources. Now, the library has become more virtual. uh, Perhaps the library is, it should be available on an app, or should be available on a handheld device, and more electronic resources are more and more prominent. So primarily the investment today in library is towards these kind of resources, having Scopus or Skyrus or Web of Science, Science Direct, and so on. So that is more kind of the investment over there. Then amount of money that you are investing in activities for the students, in terms of sports, cultural activities, facilities for the students, hostels, gym, those kind of things, maintenance of your facility, and how much you are investing in labs, equipment, augmentation of infrastructure facility. All those things give a lot of mark, and lot of points are there, and that definitely helps Indian institutions. So the more you invest, the obviously you get more marks here. So these are all these are highly tailored towards Indian situation. Perhaps the research also is to some extent to focused on, is also somewhat modulated to consider the Indian context. Why I am saying is, if you see the marks for papers, citations are much more significantly high than the marks that are for funded projects, consultancy, and all. So we know, all of us know, that majority of Indian institutions are teaching institutions. I mean, a very few faculty may be, some faculty may be doing research. Even if you take an IIT, it is not that all 100% of the faculty are having funded projects. Or you take an IIM also, 100% of them may not be doing management development programs or executive development programs or consulting for industry. I don't know the percentage, but it is definitely not 100%. At least that's what my friends tell me from IIT or IIM, that not that everybody over there has got huge consulting with industry, or huge EDPs or MDPs, or huge funded projects. Many of them have. Perhaps the number or the proportion of faculty who have got funded projects may be pretty high, but it's not that everybody is doing. So primarily, at least these rankings have been modulated in such a way that there is more mark for paper that anybody, all of us can write a paper. All of us can contribute in writing papers, but all of us may or may not be able to do a sponsored funded project. It may or may not be possible. So that way the rankings are a little broad based, and even though they are similar to the industry international rankings, they have been slightly broad based for sure. So a big majority of the lion's share of the weight goes to the number of papers. Yes, it is number. Both quality is important, quantity is also important, quality is also important. Now there are many people who will argue, quality will not come when quantity is there. Quantity will not come when quality is there. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. If you are somebody who's writing so many papers and all, prolific, you get an idea, you publish. That kind of person, you cannot expect the top kind of quality. But there are some people who will wait. Okay, I'll wait for 3 years before I get an IEEE transaction paper. My work will be that singular and great. So it is true that quality will not go hand in hand with quantity. If at all it happens, it is very rare of the rare, rarest of the rare. So there are marks for quantity and quality. You have more number of papers, there is mark for citation, there is mark for international for the percentile of the journal percentile, which percentile it goes, all those things also matter. So that way the ranking is broad based, that there is probably 30% weight in this 30% for number of papers. There is 30% weight for the citation, the quality of the paper, where the journal is, the percentile and all those, which quartile it comes into, and all those things are factored here in the QP. There is points for patents. Now, many of us know, very few of the professors or faculty members actually patent. Despite the fact that, AICTE has got such a wonderful policy. Now today AICTE is promoting what is known as IAEC, Institutions Innovation Council, in all colleges. If you ask me, that is a disruptive innovation. Every college has got something or the other they will do, and definitely if you want to patent, there is a clear support. Some support is coming for that. If you want to have a startup, there is support for that. So many things are there, but people are not actually utilizing all those things. So patents, there is definitely a good amount of mark, and there is some mark for funded projects, industry consultancy, and corporate training and executive development programs, EDPs, MDPs, all these are covered. If it's an MBA college, the focus instead of it will be on corporate training and EDP and less on the other aspects. But again, that mix slightly changes in engineering, management, and so on. But they are also flexible enough to consider. For example, generally these metrics are focused on 3 primary indexes. One is Scopus, one is Web of Science, and one is PubMed. Many medical institutions, pharmacy, nursing, and all only publish in PubMed. They don't consider Scopus. But by and large, all the other disciplines are covered in either Scopus or Web of Science. Web of Science is a broad term for the product developed by Clarivate Analytics, which used to be called Thomson's Reuters, and Thomson's Reuters has been named as Clarivate Analytics, and they are having this index called Web of Science, where they are publishing all high impact papers from Science Citation Index, Social Science Citation Index, Emerging Sources Citation Index. All of them fall in the Web of Science of Clarivate Analytics. Scopus, on the other hand, is a product by Elsevier, but they consider a lot of journals across the board, across almost all disciplines under the sun, and they take publishers from all. And generally speaking, in India, again, this has been broad-based, because in Scopus, Scopus is a very broad, huge database, and it's quite likely that there are some predatory journals, there are some paid journals, but I believe that they do a very conscious effort to weed out these predatory journal. But when you have 44,000 sources for Scopus, it's quite likely that some of them will be predatory or paid, and they have their own process. So On the other hand, Scopus is having much more, 44,000 sources. Web of Science, I believe, have less than 10,000 sources, and they focus on high impact. But all these are considered. That is a good part. The international rankings are very interestingly, I understand that the Times and QS only focus on Scopus. They don't focus on Web of Science. So Indian NIRF ranking has considered PubMed, considered what is that? Web of Science. So it is definitely more broad-based. And that is why I am alluding to the fact that these rankings are improving every year. And of course, funding, funding, consultancy, consultancy, funding, executive development programs, management development programs, all these are considered. So this is how the research aspects have been covered. And I would think that they have definitely been taking the Indian situation to a large extent into account. Now coming to the graduate outcomes. And now this probably there is room for improvement here, because some people ask me, if I am an autonomous college that passes 100% of the students in my college without looking at the quality, then I will get this GO. It is true. Unfortunately, it is true, because it looks at how your students are performing. Now, I know many of you are affiliated colleges, and you may be having a challenge to get high pass percentage. Now, but let us be very honest about the fact that in India, pass percentage is very important. So this again considers the Indian situation. But then, having said that, if there could be, I'm not saying there could not be a autonomous institution who is very low quality, who may be passing everybody. Those people may also get marks, but other places they will definitely get it. But this is likely to be kind of, some people can contest this. And obviously the number of PhD graduated also. Now, many of us know, when we do our PhD from a top institution, how much struggle we go through in a PhD. It's a major struggle. Personally also, it's been almost 10 years of life, because for most of us, or probably majority of us, our family condition is in not such a way that we can go for a full-time PhD. We have to work, earn our bread, and then only we can probably, I won't say do a PhD, eke out a PhD. That's what I would say. So in such a situation, it's very difficult. And when you have, there may be some PhD factories who may be just giving PhD. And unfortunately, those people can also take advantage of this parameter, that is graduate outcome, passing students and having more PhD. But definitely, it's a good indicator for India, because in India, pass percentage is definitely an important criteria, number one. Number two, the number of PhDs graduating is also an important criteria. Now, this again, all these are highly India-specific parameters. Diversity, how many students you are getting from other states and other countries. More number of international students, more number of outstation students, definitely the marks go up. Now, I don't want to get into an argument whether it is good or bad, but at the end of the day, we have to also look at the community that we are in. We have to look at that also. So to some extent, those things are also important. We have to balance that with the diversity. Then percentage of women, whether they are number of students or faculty and women in higher positions, all these matter. Number of scholarships that you are giving, how you are supporting the economically and socially challenged students, whether you are providing the physically handicapped facilities like a lift or proper washrooms and toilets. All those things are good things that really all these are parameters that completely focus on the Indian context. No foreign ranking or foreign university could care less about any of these parameters. If it is diversity, they are they may have some policy on diversity, women, giving scholarships and all may not be, there may be something, but there may not be a priority for any of these universities. So these are all purely Indian specific parameters. Giving scholarships for physically advantaged, all those things are probably, affirmative action. Those things are totally Indian parameters. The last aspect is the perception. As far as NIRF is concerned, they have a confidential survey that goes out to people in their list. As a college, you can give you have probably given contacts of your employers, so they will send a confidential document to them. Probably they may send it broadly to all the major industries in India. So here one thing you could do is you could definitely ask them to put a response. Now I'm sure any company, if you are taking a company HR person, he'll be very busy. But definitely as a college that is collaborating with the company, providing a lot of talent in terms of placement, you can definitely request them that, please, why don't you focus on, when you get this questionnaire from NIRF, please make a point to write, mention us, because you are anyways coming to this college regularly, you are taking placement, you're taking a lot of people, so there's nothing wrong in that. Plus they send a lot of questionnaires to some academicians, to research agencies, DST, DBT, but all this is very confidential, and the people who are filling the survey are not supposed to mention. But it doesn't hurt that you talk to your collaborators and your employers, you tell them that, there is we are going up the rankings and you are already collaborating with us. You are coming for placement. You have given us funded projects. You are partnering with us. You have MOUs with us. Put in a good word, because we are not telling any lies. We are telling the fact of life. So these are the 5 parameters, the 5 broad criteria that NIRF uses. Now, coming to the how to do it. This is all the what. So I can only give you some few pointers. Then perhaps during the discussion we can, we can have more discussion and give some strategy per se. But the first and the most important aspect, that I will very, very strongly allude to is the need for proper documentation and data collection. So I have just modified this. Any presentation related, I give this quote. This is my quote, which I have slightly modified from statistics. So the statistics quote says, "In God we trust, but for everything else we need data." In God we trust, but for everything else we need data. And I have added my take, and that data needs to be supported by evidence. Evidence is proof, supporting documents, files. In Indian context, it is highly, highly important. Whatever you are doing, whether it is academics, whether it is outcome-based education, whether it is innovation, whether it is research, whether it is student clubs, outreach activities, extension activities, whatever be the case, you need to have proper data, proper evidences. Now, the reason is very clear. See, India is unfortunately a slightly over-regulated country. It's a fact of life. It is a law of the land. We can't do anything. Unfortunately, we have a separate statutory body. We have a separate regulatory body. We have a separate accreditation body. Unfortunately, that is a fact today. And we also have a separate rankings body. So all of this hinges on data. Now you have to give the statutory body, means if you are engineering or MBA, you come under All India Council for Technical Education, AICTE, you have to take approval. It's a statutory body. If you are MBBS or you have to go to Medical Council of India. Now it's called NMC, National Medical Commission. If you are doing a pharmacy program, it is Pharmacy Council of India. Statutory bodies are there. Now you have regulatory bodies. If you are a university or an autonomous college, you have to, like Rajagiri, I believe is autonomous. Just now you got autonomy. Now you have to, you are regulated directly by UGC. If you are an affiliated college, you are regulated by the university, some university. It could be Kerala University or Bharatiyar University or Vishwesvaraya Technological University or Kerala Technological University or Anna University, but that university is regulated by UGC. Now you have the accreditation agency. You have NBA, NAC, you have international, AACSB, ABET. You have IET and so on. That's a separate body. Then you have NIRF. Presently, NIRF is part of NBA, but next year, not this year, next to 2021, 2022 ranking, it will be a separate society. Indian Ranking Society or something is coming up. That's what I was told by Dr. Agarwal, the chairman of NBA. So we are having different accreditation agency, different ranking agency, different statutory body, different regulatory body, and you need to have proper documentation for all of this. So make it a culture in your institution to keep proper documentation. It's very, very important because you have multifarious purposes, multifarious formats. You can't help it. Maybe in the future, the NEP is being executed, the National Education Policy. Maybe in the future, things may change, but we have to follow the law of the land. So have a proper documentation. You have proper documentation exercise. Many of these things will be captured. Now, I'm just giving you an example. You have some student achievement. You capture it in the department. That will help in NIRF. That will help in NAC. That will help in NBA. You have what is that? You gave some seed money to your faculty. Somewhere you have documented it. You'll be able to use it for all these purposes. So having proper supporting documents, having proper evidences is the most important thing. That is the first thing. One is, that's what the third pillar. This again is my own my own take. Documentation is one of the major pillars. Second thing, publicizing what you do. I told you, whether it is national ranking or international ranking, perception is important. You have to improve your image in the community. And you have to publicize. You have to have a process, a channel for publicity. Now, your website is a very important window to the outside world. You have to have an updated website. Many people don't go, even a prospective student or a parent will not probably come. Now it is COVID time. They will just look at the website. If your website is not updated, it doesn't have all the information, it doesn't have the stats and numbers and the highlights, you are only the loser. Especially foreign universities, the first thing that they do, you send an email to a foreign professor, the first thing he will do is he will look for your profile. He will look for your university profile. He will look for your Scopus ID. He will look for your Google Scholar ID. This is what they do. This is what they do for, when they are looking for some collaboration. So publicizing whatever you do in a proper, having a process, whether it is a student achievement, you have a content writer, put it into the website, put it on your digital social media channels, Facebook, Instagram. All these really matter. You never know how they really help you in the future. But having all these things publicized properly with a proper channel. So you need to have a proper mechanism for data collection and evidence collection, number one. Not only that, when you get the data and the data collection, from the data collection, you can have some selected things, and those things you can publicize also. Right? Even if a student, is getting some weightlifting award, I mean, it got some value, So having a proper mechanism for publicizing is very important. The last pillar that I will say is research publication. I cannot tell you how to increase your research. That you have to, you have to recruit good faculty, hire good people, and so on. But you can ensure that all the publications from your college or your university have a proper affiliation. Because if you don't give a proper affiliation, Scopus and Web of Science does not ask you for your publications. Same way, NIRF or international rankings, they do not ask you for your publications. They simply go to the Scopus Index or the Web of Science or the PubMed and pull out your papers. They do not ask you. So Scopus will not know what are the different names of your college. Now, I understand Rajagiri College of Engineering and Technology. Somebody may publish as RCET. You see, you never know that some faculty, you may have 500 faculty or 300 faculty, each of them publish in their own way. Somebody will put RCET Kochi. Scopus will not know that RCET is Rajagiri College of Engineering and Technology, right? They will not know, right? So you have to have a proper affiliation. Ensure all the publications go with the proper affiliation. We are our university has really suffered because of this. Because as I mentioned, we are multi-campus. Somebody sitting in Mysore or somebody sitting in some other campus. See, some new faculty joins. He or she may not know the policy. He may publish so many papers, but the affiliation is not given properly. The ultimate loser is the college. So we have had a very good institutionalized mechanism wherein last 5 years, I'm very proud that this was initiated when I was the IQAC vice chair, initiated by me, because I found out that we were losing big time. We lost hundreds of publications because they didn't have proper affiliation. Now we have a very proper institutionalized mechanism. So and I am told, so we have a very good network of IQAC coordinators, and I'm in very constant touch with the VIT, Manipal and all of them have this problem. Manipal also, he was telling me, the IQAC chair was telling me that, a lot of problems he had, a lot of publications were lost. Because they have Manipal Academy for Higher Education. Somebody will put Mahi. Scopus may know that Mahi is Manipal Academy for Higher Education. That Scopus will know. Somebody will put Kasturba Medical College. But Kasturba Medical College is Mangalore. How will Scopus know that KMC is part? It may not know. So that way, publications, you have to have a proper affiliation at a college level, at an institutional level, at a university level. Ensure that all the affiliations are properly maintained. I think that's all from my side. We have enough time for questions. So I conclude my talk. Thank you very much to Dr. Manoj Tarian, Pratibha ma'am and others for this opportunity. I'll be very happy to answer questions. I'll request you to moderate. It will be easier for me.
Sure, sir. Dear participants, if you have any queries, kindly put it in chat box.
There is some question now. There is a question that for undergraduate colleges, I feel that there should be separate ranking because of research weightage for UG colleges. Actually, to my understanding, there is the first time NIRF was brought out a college ranking, but they dropped it at the end. That was primarily meant for undergraduate colleges with who are mainly teaching colleges. So as I mentioned, every year this ranking is improving. They are factoring all the inputs, but then ultimately you have to also have a one size fits all also is needed. So to my understanding, that college ranking is primarily focused towards undergraduate teaching colleges. Not the parameters are also like that. Now, but if you ask me, even if you are an undergraduate college, you should have some research, right? You have to add something to the body of knowledge. What do you think? The amount, the marks may not be that high, but definitely you need to do some research. You can't just completely absolve from doing research. So the college ranking is primarily focused on undergraduate colleges, as per my understanding. There is another, is it okay to keep evidences in soft form? Hard copy of evidences is a must. Absolutely not. See, we want to be green, and we want to use, please use technology in a very good way. There is absolutely nothing wrong in having evidences in soft form. In fact, in NAC, they are asking you to upload everything, which means that they only want the soft copy. There are certain things that you you probably have to have some printout and all certain things. But if you ask me, if my experience of academic documentation in the last 10 years is that perhaps not more than 1% of these documents need to be printed. You can keep everything in the soft con, but you should properly index them and archive them. It's not that you're running around for when you need it. When you're having a NAC inspection or an NBA inspection, you can't be running helter skelter to get the document. So you should have it properly indexed, archived. If you have a search format, nothing like it. If you have a search facility, there will be nothing like it. It will be very nice to have it in a searchable format. So have as much as possible, keep everything soft. Only the barest of the worst of the worst necessity, you need to keep hard copies. That is my experience. See, I can give you an example also. So I remember one of these inspections, the patent application and all, they wanted a hard copy. At least they wanted the receipt hard copy. Very few things they may ask for a hard copy. And when you most NAC, I have not been part of a NAC team, but I have been part of a UGC. I have been part of UGC committee to confer autonomy on a college. I'm not supposed to name the college, but anyway, I've been part of a UGC team. I've been doing a lot of NAC mock audits, NBA mock audits and all. And by and large, most people who will only compliment you if you have everything in soft. They will not ask for hard copy. Everybody is environmentally conscious. Yeah, I think Pratibha ma'am, they can even come online and ask. I have no problem, right?
Okay. So
No, up to you.
participant,
They want, they
yes,
can ask.
yes, sir. They can unmute and ask the questions. No issues. Participants, if you have any queries, feel free to ask it now.
Yeah. So my slides are I have sent it to the organizer, Dr. Manoj Tarian, and I will request him to share the this thing. I am also dropping my email ID. I've just dropped my email ID in the chat box. You can be free to contact me on email. You can also find me very easily on, you just Google for my name, Prashant R. Nair and Amrita, you will get my website. You can easily find me on Facebook also. In fact, you can follow me on Facebook, very easy to follow also. I don't think there is any space for friends, but you can follow me on Facebook. Just search for Prashant R. Nair. You can find me on Facebook also. So if there are no more queries, Pratibha ma'am, can we wind up or we'll wait for some more time?
I think we will wait for 1 to 2 minutes, sir.
Yeah,
If there
sure,
are
sure,
no
no problem.
questions,
No, I
okay,
am
we
free
can wind
anyway.
up. Okay, sir. Okay.
So they can, my email ID I have given.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got it. Thank you, sir. Sir, shall I ask you one question, sir?
Yeah, absolutely, ma'am. Sure.
Okay, sir. Under the title of perception, you have mentioned about this PRACD, right? That is academic peers.
Yeah.
So can you just elaborate a little bit, sir? I didn't get that.
See, earlier the NIRF tried with some public feedback and all, but finally they found that there was some sort of manipulation and all. So
Okay.
what they do is, as far as employers or people who are placement, who are giving your students placement,
Okay.
those people, colleges have been asked to give the names of those employers with their contact ID, contact details, email ID, and so on. Just 1 minute.
Okay, sir.
ഞാനൊരു മീറ്റിംഗിലാണ്, ഞാൻ തിരിച്ചു വിളിക്കാം. ഇപ്പൊ തിരിച്ചു വിളിക്കാം, 5 മിനിറ്റ് ഞാൻ വിളിക്കാം. ശരി, സോറി. So the employers have been asked to write you can give their contact details, your phone number, email ID, and they have been sent some sort of questionnaire and all, where I think they will be asked which are the top 10 colleges in your opinion that you are recruiting from. It's primarily sent to HR and middle management and all. That is the employer perception. Now, academic peers, there is a bit of secrecy in that. But to my understanding is that they have identified probably it could be IIT professors, then DST unit heads. DST has many divisions.
Yes.
So each division head, so they have identified. There is a bit of secrecy. But I have got some, not this year, 1 or 2 years back, I have got some query and all about this. I have got something from NIR of 1 year. So now I don't think they are asking people to give any suggestions. They are having a confidential database, and they are sending it. I don't think they are asking us to suggest people. Earlier they were doing that. They were asking us to suggest and all. Now they are not doing. So probably over the last 5 years, they have already got the email IDs and contact numbers of all the major companies and the HR heads in India, as far as employers are concerned. And the academic peers, to be very honest, I don't know, but I believe that it is sent. I know people calling me and telling me that, we have got, there is some secrecy involved in it and you're not supposed to tell out, but they have told that they have got.
Okay, fine. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
If any participant wants to come online also, I'm fine. I think Dr. Pratibha ma'am, we can close. No, nobody is coming. Can we close?
Yes, sir. No questions are coming. So I hope, so those who want to contact Prashant sir, you can kindly contact in the mail ID. Sir have provided us with the mail ID. So I think we can wind up the session. Thank you so much, Prashant sir, for that very good session, very informative session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, all the participants.
Okay, we'll meet on Tuesday then. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, sir.
Okay. All the best to all the participants. Thank you very much. Bye.
Yeah. Bye, sir. Thank you. So we can wind up the session.